Mr. Rick Mercer is with me in studio now. Good morning.
Good morning.
14 seasons. We were just talking about this.
I know.
It's a long time.
It sure is. When you start a show, it's no different than any other job. You're just hoping you won't get fired in the first couple of weeks. Then if you make it through a year, you're like, I guess I'm going to stick around. Maybe there's another year here. And if you get through that, then you think, well, maybe 4 years. That's the lifespan of a TV show, or 5 or 6. So I certainly never envisioned any scenario where I'd still be doing the show at 14. But you know what? The people keep watching. The numbers are still good, and there's lots of great stories to tell.
What do you think, it's a bit odd to ask the guy who's in the center of this, but what do you think the appeal 14 years in is of what it is that you're doing? Why is it that audiences still...
It's not
in the
me.
Short attention
It's
span
not
theater
me.
that we...
It's the country. The show is so unapologetically Canadian. We'll do tonight what we started out doing 14 seasons ago. That's like to take one part of the country, show another part of the country, put regular folks on television, tell interesting stories, and just be unapologetically Canadian.
Strap you to a bungee cord or
do all
onto
that.
a
Well,
jet
tonight
ski
I happen to be dressed as a mermaid with 9 beautiful mermaids and myself swimming in a beautiful swimming pool off the coast of British Columbia. You'd be surprised to know that the mer folk community is based in British Columbia, I'm sure.
I didn't know that.
That's where they are. Yeah. And so that's part of my adventure tonight. It's great fun, by the way. It's like literally they strap on giant fins, and from the bottom, they're all spangly and shiny. And on top, they got the bedazzled brassieres, and they got the long hair, and they're swimming in the ocean.
And there you are.
And there I am in the midst of it. That's where the fantasy goes left for a lot of people. But still, there it is. It's a spectacular sight.
Is Donald Trump a gift from God for comedians?
Well, I have 2 answers. The reality is, if Donald Trump, or this is what I think, if Donald Trump was a third-party candidate, as he once threatened to be, or an independent candidate, and he was polling at 9 or 10%, I could enjoy it very much. The fact that he's so close to the White House, that kind of sucks the comedy out of it for me. I just find it so completely surreal. We've entered this area now where it doesn't matter what he says or does. It doesn't even people aren't even seeing it for what it is. You know, if it was a morning DJ, any morning DJ in the country or the United States in the middle of the night tweeted that everyone should go look at this person's sex tape, there would be consequences. That person would probably be, taken off the air. A presidential candidate doesn't. Everyone's like, oh, that's just Donald. You know, it's shades of Rob Ford in the sense that it just doesn't matter.
Should we be worried about Trumpism, as you're hinting at in the rant, coming north of the border?
Oh, absolutely. Look, the parallels are so strong between the leadership race of the Conservative Party and the Republicans. The reality is, when I did the rant only 2 nights ago, it was 12. Now it looks like 14. If there's 14 people on that stage for the first debate for the Conservative Party, the people that are going to get the attention are going to be the ones that are outrageous and the ones that just are going for it. They have no other options. And you see this with Kellie Leitch. You know, Kellie Leitch, not that long ago, she was a long shot at best. In fact, she was the last name that was mentioned in any articles. Now she's at the front of the fundraising pack, and it's because she's floating this notion that, new Canadians should have the same Canadian ideals that we all have.
Test for Canadian values.
Which is absurd. And I get where it's coming from. You know, if someone moves in next door to you, you would like them to be on the same page. Oh, I hope that they like wine. I hope they like all the things I like. But until we invent the brain scan 2000 and we can scan everyone's brains for what they're actually thinking, it's a completely moot and ridiculous point.
Moot and ridiculous, or is it dangerous, as some people have floated as well, saying that she is pushing a button, scratching beneath the surface in the very same way that people say Trump is south of the border?
Oh, she's totally doing that because there is no solution. Yes, you want like-minded individuals, but there's no way to test that. So all she's doing is sending up, getting people worked up and getting people upset about an issue that is probably number 10 on their number of issues.
What do you think, what does that phrase anti-Canadian values mean to you?
I don't even know what it means. I mean, once you start to dig down, it could mean anything. I mean, if Kellie Leitch is saying, we want people to support same-sex marriage, and that's all very kind and dandy, and that's like, throwing an olive branch out to the GLBT community. But is she saying Catholics can't come into the country? It's, there's no such thing as a uniform set of core beliefs.
And yet she wouldn't do it. And we don't want to just, this is all about Kellie Leitch, but there was this poll that came out, CBC and Angus Reid did, and it was released yesterday, talking about Canadians and their views on multiculturalism and immigration, suggesting that, in the words of somebody from Angus Reid, that there are limits to tolerance. She wouldn't do this if she didn't think that there would be some sort of traction.
Again, I just don't think that this is a real issue. I think it's just like the house next door is for sale and you go, well, oh yeah, sure, I would like a like-minded individual to share my fence. But that doesn't mean you're going to be completely out of joint if someone completely different moves in. In fact, that might work out for the better. It's just, I just think it's a natural starting point to say, yeah, sure, it'd be good if they thought the same thing that I thought. That would make it easy.
Justin Trudeau, any thoughts on where he's at right now?
He's a lucky guy, isn't he? He's so lucky. Well, I can't remember in my lifetime any prime minister who had such an open lane. I mean, Chrétien had an opposition in disarray, for sure, so he had it easy. But Justin has no opposition. I mean, he has Tom Mulcair there, who at one time was the most effective opposition leader perhaps Canada's ever seen. He has been literally neutered by his own party. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does or says. No one's paying attention. And then the Conservatives have an interim leader and who's just smiling a lot. And he literally can do whatever he wants with impunity. So it's too soon to say how he's doing, even though we're almost a year in. So it's a little embarrassing that we're saying it's too soon to say. Although this week he started making moves on the carbon tax, which was interesting just in the sense that he did something that upset some people.
How could you possibly not want to do a show like this, given the rich material that you have in front of you?
You know, I still go to work, and if you ask me what my dream job was, this is still my dream job, and I realize that that not everyone can say that. So I'm incredibly grateful, and yes, the politics is interesting, and that never changes. So there's always something to talk about. But I look forward to every Saturday or Sunday morning when I'm at the airport at 5 a.m. Believe it or not, I look forward to that. It's another new adventure. I'm always happy to be there.
We will look forward to the mermaid fins and more this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And baseball fans, set your PBRs.
Rick Mercer.